All right, fam, we back. Reaction. Picture this. I'm just chilling, scrolling through social media, and when I struggle and find this video of Tim Legler dropping the T, and let me tell you, we all know how it is when you're scrolling through social media, and next thing you know, you see that one post that you gotta tap into.
I beg your pardon?
I said, you gotta tap in.
I beg your pardon?
But fam, when I stumbled across this video, I knew that I had to bring it to you. And if I gotta be honest with you, it stopped me dead in my track. I was like, yeah, I gotta bring that to the people. With all this excitement, roller coaster ups and downs going on with the Dallas Mavericks, we all know how it feels to be on that ride when you think it's over, but then it goes another loop-de-loop.
Wait a minute!
Shot fired! Oh, that's in the loop. All right, fam. Ask you, is there a way that the Dallas Mavericks can turn around what happened to Luka Doncic for a golden run with Cooper Flagg, AD, and Kyrie? It has all the vibes that'll hit you right in your chest. I mean that. From hope, curiosity, and even a little bit, or depending on what cloth you cut from, it'll bring you fear of what is next to come. Fam, I don't know about you, but I have personally had those nights where something just grabs you and can make you feel alive. Is that what is happening in Dallas with Cooper Flagg right now? And that's facts.
Wait a minute!
So fam, I just had to share this with everyone, and that's where we're at now. And best believe, I'm taking you on this ride. So let's feel, react, laugh, and drop those hot fire takes in the comment section below. Without further ado, y'all know how we get down. Strap up, lock in, let's go.
Former Dallas Maverick, Tim Legler. Tim, what's going on?
What's up, gentlemen? How's it going, man? You guys got to be feeling pretty good about what happened.
We are feeling pretty good about it. We'll get into
Best week of our lives, Tim.
That's right.
As it should be. That's justified description.
Okay, so let's get into it since we're there already when it comes to Cooper Flagg. If you could describe the Maverick season in one word throughout all of the changes, the trade, the injuries, and then culminating with them winning the #1 overall pick, what would that word be to describe the Maverick season?
Oh, man, I guess it would be rejuvenation, right? Because they were, I mean, everything that happened, man, with it, when that trade went down and what a gut punch it was to the fan base, to the city. And then, you think, well, at least let's take a look at some point at what Anthony Davis looks like with Kyrie. And, we can maybe get over it if we start winning with those two guys and Anthony Davis gets hurt immediately. The time he comes back, Kyrie is done.
And that's facts.
A good majority of next year, most likely. It never came to fruition. We don't.
All right, fam, I need to honestly ask y'all, how does it feel if you were on level 100 before the trade, then the trade happened? What level were you on after the trade? Then Kyrie, then Daniel Gafford getting re-injured, PJ missing more time, Najee Marshall being the point guard. I really need to know, what were your expectations after they traded Luka? Is this something that they didn't realize, the domino effects? How were you feeling about the Quentin Grimes situations? All of the salary moves that were made that capped the Dallas Mavericks from being able to make any moves up until April 10th. I need to know this information, man. We was tapped in. We say keeping you up to date on all the latest trade news, rumors, buzz, and everything. But yet, the Dallas Mavericks did what they wanted to do. How did this leave you feeling as a fan?
No. So the trade itself, I everybody pretty much knows how I felt about the trade at the time. I haven't really changed my opinion despite what happened with the Lakers. I think though, if you're being fair, you can't judge a trade until you're a few years removed from it. That's the only fair way to do it, because I think teams involved in trades look at much more than just this, unless you're getting a guy that's like expiring contract, that's a star, and you're trying.
All right, so I have a question about that. If you cannot evaluate the trades until that far after the trade, then what about all the fans that you lost in the process of getting to that 3 years? Some part of that has to factor into what you're valuing, because the Dallas Mavericks lost a lot amount of fans, and fans that were Dallas Maverick fans transitioned over to being Luka fans. You got a whole Luka show right now. I mean, it is what it is. But the owners and the organizations did not have the foresight to see that the community and the area of Dallas were tied to Luka Doncic in this way.
Trying to win a title like that year and then the guy leaves. Yeah, then you could judge it immediately, but that's not what this was. This is more about what it's going to be in the future. You can't judge it. We never got a chance to see what it looks like for Dallas. Small sample size for the Lakers. I don't think that was really necessarily that telling. So it comes down to this. The lottery, and shocking the world by getting the #1 pick in a draft that is as clear-cut #1 pick as any you're going to find. and they have a generational talent.
And that's facts.
Keep the pick and draft Cooper Flagg, which I would be, to me, insane not to. I could go on for, you know, a whole entire hour-long show about Cooper Flagg and how long I've been watching him and what it is he's going to bring. He's a can't-miss star.
Do y'all find it funny how everybody who's not a Dallas Mavericks supporter wants us to trade Cooper for Giannis or consider these other options? We don't need to consider anybody else. We got a young talent that we can have for at least 10 years, provided everything goes according to plan. And then we don't have to pay him nearly as much as we would have had to pay Giannis. What are these people really thinking about when they say we should trade somebody who you can't even put a roof on his ceiling currently, but you can put a floor on his bottom? So why would we trade that knowing what we bringing in? Not to mention Jason Kidd played a major influence in Giannis' development. So therefore, we have Cooper Flagg coming into the perfect situation with Anthony Davis, probably one of the best players to play at his position, to teach him everything he needs to know. Not to mention he'll be in the rotation and getting PT with Kyrie Irving. So we all heard Luka Doncic say, you can't be tall handles. You have to work for them.
I beg your
And that's
pardon.
facts.
Let's get back to it, y'all.
And he's going to be immediately a guy that helps. Like from day one, he will be on the court and he will be helping the Dallas Mavericks win.
Yeah, and it's the
Did y'all hear Jason Kidd talking about he might put Cooper at the 2? I don't know, man. You're gonna have to get in that lab. You're gonna have to do some dribbling drills with Kyrie, make sure he don't get pressed up. His ISO game is decent, but he does need, when it comes to creation, he's gonna get into the paint, he's gonna look for that pass, but we need him to also be aggressive when he gets those opportunities to take it to the basket.
you know, it's the best thing that could have happened to the Dallas franchise. Obviously, no way to plan it, no way to have any idea that this is how it was going to go down. But what we've been debating on the show for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, however long ago it was, is just how do you go forward? What is the right way? What is the right path? What does the roster look like? You know, Anthony Davis was not traded for thinking that Dallas had Cooper Flagg, who I think, you know, can play 3, can play 2, kind of, can play 5, can play 4 though. Like if you look at the modern NBA, most players like Cooper Flagg usually play the 4, and Anthony Davis, who has always been best throughout his career at the 5, is somebody who also wants to play the 4. They're both kind of these really high level help side defenders, roaming defenders, you know, who want those roles. They want to be helping off. They want to be, you know, the base of the defense, not the top of the defense.
And one thing I like about Cooper is he gives me DJ vibes, just the tenacity that he has on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I'm not talking about offense, so don't come for me.
And that's facts.
Defense. He is tapped into something special when it comes to defense, with his wingspan, being able to get up in the guy's chest and make sure that he's not giving up those easy fouls when they're trying to pressure him and get to the basket or the rim. Cooper Flagg definitely knows how to utilize his size to put himself in a good defensive position. And with his ability to create offense, because we all know he was a part of the Olympic team practice squad, so he was able to make legitimate waves. That boy was able to get out there and get some 1v1s. That boy was going over. That boy had a chance to go against Anthony Davis and other NBA Olympians that were there at the time. So he's definitely capable of getting up to game speed and being able to make an impact this early. With him having the Olympic practice experience, he's going to be able to have a better feel for game speed and what to expect from these guys in the NBA, because it's not the first time that he would actually be getting good hard reps against them. Add that for my people in the back. Let's get back to it.
Defense. So you know, just initial reactions with PJ Washington, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Derek.
Yeah, man, they talking about PJ too. What y'all think about PJ? PJ is, you might have to be getting rid of PJ. I know he was standing on business, but y'all already heard what I said. When he came out against the fans, man, that was your saving grace, bro. We was keeping you here. I know you stand on business, but what happens when the business is no good?
And that's
Say what
facts.
happened when the business no good, fam? Okay, and before we get any further into this, man, the trade targets for PG, all these people I done heard, y'all, we done talked about Tyus Jones already. We done talked about Dennis Schroeder. We done talked about Neesmith. Who else? Somebody else that we done also talked about for potential trade targets for the Dallas Mavericks to pick up. So all these people who coming out with these things, I'm like, man, the Dallas Mavericks should be looking at these people last year. So make sure y'all stay tuned into the Lockbox. Let's get back to it.
Lively and Daniel Gafford. That's a big front court. Might be too many names. What's your gut, you know, first reaction of how, if you were in charge of this team, you would go around building for the future?
Well, I look at it like this: if you're first of all completely married to the idea that Anthony Davis, for whatever reason, does not want to play 5, like it matters to him to have a more traditional center on the court with him so he can be, called the 4. Like, that matters that much to him, and it's been made a big deal about that throughout his career. If that's the case, and you believe you need to make sure that happens, so let's just assume you're going to have a 5 on the court with him. Not the entire game. I think he's comfortable playing X.
Okay, do y'all think Anthony Davis is just doing too much and not wanting to play 4? Or, I mean, bro, under the circumstances that Anthony Davis came to the Dallas Mavericks, boy, if we put you out there at the 5, you better get out there and get you some buckets, boy, at the 5. I don't care about none of that.
And that's
For real, man. Get your butt out there. Get some bounds. What about the rebounds, AD?
Amount of minutes per half at the 5, but at the start of each game, it's and probably the majority of his minutes, he wants a 5 next to him. If that's the case, and you're going to proceed with that mentality, then Cooper Flagg needs to be your starting 3. And whether that's from day one or not remains to be seen, I guess, once he gets into.
Hey, y'all heard that? So if Cooper Flagg is a starting 3, y'all already know Klay Thompson coming out that starting lineup, unless they move Klay to the 2. But do you feel comfortable with having Klay Thompson at the 2, having to take the full responsibility of guarding that POA? And if Cooper Flagg is at the 3, are they going to make him the POA? Who is going to be our point of attack defender? Because if we think about this, you got who's going to be the 1? I'll wait. Okay, I'm just going to throw some stuff out there. So Najee was playing the point last year. So worst case scenario, we'll have Najee at the 1. No, let me get this right. We'll have Najee at the 1. We'll have Klay at the 2, Cooper Flagg at the 3, AD at the 4, and Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively at the 5. And the only thing that's really going to be interchangeable on that is going to be the point guard. So we got Caleb Martin, who I wouldn't mind to trade. I mean, I'm not going to say that. So we got Caleb Martin. We got Brandon Williams, who I think should be the starting point guard while Kyrie is injured. And then who else they going to try to throw out there? Jaden Hardy's still there. What are y'all expectations? Who is supposed to step up and be that person that we're going to need to step into that point guard role? I'm going to go with B. Will, because B. Will already has those intangibles. He keeps his dribble alive, and there's rarely situations to where he can't get to where he want to get to down in the paint, especially for a reverse layup, whether it's working the pivot, whether it's stop and go, slowing down the defender. He's very good and has a lot of Kyrie-esque-like skills.
Camp and how comfortable he gets and how
Drop hashtag, man, B. Will Irving in the chat, because I know if Minnesota had him right now, Minnesota would definitely be in better shape, because for some reason they can't get into the paint, and they always pick up their dribble when they meet traffic. But Brandon Williams does a great job of hesitating, maybe hitting them with a hesitation dribble, pausing, and then manipulating the defense to create angles, and he does a good job of getting his body low and a straight line attack towards the basket.
quickly. I personally think day one, you could drop him down on an NBA floor and he's going to be a very productive player because of his motor, his defensive prowess, his versatility defensively.
Yeah, he's
his
an
passing,
Energizer Bunny.
and it's just athleticism. Like, he can hang now. And so if you got him at the 3, and AD at the 4, Gafford or Lively at the 5, that is elite level frontline defense. Now, offensively,
well, you got to think, not even before he gets into the offensive side, you add another playmaker into the role. So you have AD, who is a capable passer. I mean, him and Boogie Cousins, they was out there doing the thing in New Orleans. So you have AD being able to hit Lively or Daniel Gafford in the rolls or the alley-oops. And then you got Cooper, who is also a lob threat as well, and he's capable of throwing oops. And whoever you have in the point guard position, whether it's B. Will or Kyrie Irving, even Jaden Hardy does a decent job at throwing the alley-oops. So, I mean, fam, we looking real good right now.
Cooper Flagg, you'd love the 3 to be more alongside Anthony Davis and a rim-running center. You would love to have a 3 that can be comfortable out to 24 feet on catch and shoots and also get his own shot out to 24 feet off the dribble. Right now, he's got, I think, some mechanical issues that he's got to iron out to get to that level. He can make three-point college shots, and he did enough. That wasn't really a strength, and I don't think the percentage was nearly good enough for how good I think it can be, but it's not going to fix itself. I think he needs to work on some of his mechanics with his release. His handle is good enough, his athleticism is good enough to get that shot, and you're going to need that guy in that spot to be able to make threes if you got AD and a big on the court with him. It's that simple. So I think he's your he's a starting player for you. That means that he's going to have to work really hard this summer to improve his long-term his long-distance efficiency, because I don't think it's going to be there right away, and that could create some offensive spacing problems for the Mavericks.
Legs, we've been told many countless times by Nico Harrison that defense wins championships. And Cooper Flagg is only 18. He's got a very, very long career ahead of him. But we're all of the opinion right now that you can drop him onto a court and he can defend at least 3 positions, if not 4, if not all 5. Long term, what kind of upside does he have as a defender? Is this like an all defense kind of guy? Is this like a defensive player of the year kind of guy? Or are we getting carried away by even thinking about that at this point?
I don't think you are at all. And I think let's start with, I think you got to see a little bit of a sample size to start talking defensive player of the year down the road. Like I've looked at Amin Thompson enough to know now after 2 years, that's what his future looks like. He's going to be a perennial all-league defender. He's going to eventually.
Hey, shout out Amin Thompson. Hashtag the leader of the doing too much club. And that's you be doing too much. You got to slow it down.
Be a defensive player of the year. You got to wait and see it at the NBA level. I think right off the bat, maybe not his rookie year, but starting like year 2, I think he can be in that same category as Amin Thompson in terms of a guy that's potentially an all-league defender. Like pretty quickly he'll get there. Defensive player of the year, that's another tier, another level to get to down the road. But I think clearly that's the vein with which I see him. And the reason is because, number one, he's got about as much want to for a wing that's a high profile wing as anybody I've seen coming into the league as far as want to defender. He loves it. And if that's the first thing that stood out to me when I started hearing about him in the AAU circuit, he started to become like mythical, like the Cooper Flagg name. I start hearing, I'm really tied into guys in that community, so I would hear the name at a young age. And I saw him at 15 and I was like, I could take this guy tomorrow, put him on the court as a starter in a Power 5 conference in college, and the dude is going to hold his own at 15 because of how hard he plays, how much he wants it, the edge he's got.
Hey man, it sounds like he talking about Luka back in the Gets Out. I'm over here like talking about Luka. It's just that's that flag, boy. They say that's marketability, Cooper Flagg. And then in the commercial, he had the American flag behind him. And that's in Dallas. Think about all that money, man, just off the last name alone. My last name is priceless as well. But Flagg? Boy, yeah, you could do something with that. That's a marketing ploy alone. They'll be able to market that flag. He's going to mess around and have his own jersey with a specialized United States of America. It's just his name has a lot of marketability.
Tough. He doesn't back down from anybody. And then the skill was there. The bounce, the athletic.
Hey, yo, that's why I said he reminds me of DJJ 3.0 because not only do you get the defense, you get the energy, you get the bounce. My boy is bouncy. He'll dunk on you in a quick, hot second. And then you get more of an offensive game. That's why you get the 2.3.0 because you get close to the same. And time will only tell if it will improve beyond what DJJ was able to offer the Dallas Mavericks on the defensive end. As of right now, you get something that can definitely hold water close to what DJJ was able to do and bringing in playmaking and somebody who's capable of a Dirk. Yeah, y'all didn't think I was going to bring Dirk up in here? A Dirk turn around, stop and pop jumper with the leg kick. Y'all know Dirk be kicking that leg out. We trying to get some fouls out here. Do fouls.
Running the floor, handling it. His passing is very underrated. I think people started to appreciate it more as it's.
Did I say it, man? That's why you tapped into the lockbox, so you don't be locked out. You heard me? And that's fact.
On at Duke, the guy's a hell of a playmaker. The shooting is probably, of all the things right now, it's probably the weak point of his game. I think the perimeter shot.
Now, are we really worried about Cooper Flagg's shot? This is a question for you. I honestly am asking, how worried are you about Cooper Flagg's shot and it being able to translate into the NBA? Defense, all the other intangibles that this kid has to offer is going to translate from day one. Now, the distance of the three-point line, I thought about that. But if he's practicing with the Olympic team, why wouldn't he be shooting NBA range threes? Does that make sense? So I understand where Tim is coming from. However, Cooper has already been put through this transition, or at least started the process to transition from college to NBA before his senior year even finished. So I'm excited to see what this kid's gonna be able to offer. Let's see if he has any more insight for us.
And that's got to improve. The rest of it's there. The intangibles are there. I think it's a can't miss, and I think most coaches in the NBA feel the same way. That's why it was frustrating for a lot of guys in the West to see him go to the West. Like, you're thinking, if you're one of those teams in the Western Conference, you're thinking, well, if we don't get him, at least, let him end up in Washington or Charlotte or Toronto or one of those teams. And instead, he's right in the mix with a team that I think is going to be very relevant next year in the Western Conference. So the West just got better.
Well, now I feel even better.
Exactly. No, we feel
Let's go.
Really good about the upside for Cooper Flagg. When you look at not just the skill set that he presents, your time in the league and playing against a lot of tremendous defenders and offensive players, what would be your best comp when it comes to Cooper Flagg, given the height, the weight, the skill set that he presents that you look at?
little bit of Franz Wagner, I think, in him. You know, a guy that's 6'10", that's got a similar physical profile.
I ain't gonna lie, friend. I like me some ball. Hey, yeah. That for my people.
Good athleticism and a really high motor. Doesn't quit on plays. He might be quicker laterally than Franz Wagner right now to switch out onto guards and high-level ball handlers that can change direction. Like, that's a different level of defensive prowess.
So I ask you again, are we looking at Cooper Flagg to be the Dallas Mavericks POA?
The one thing I'll say, and you had mentioned, I think he can guard a lot of twos, is because the nature of the position has changed to such an extent that most of those guys are three-point shot hunters. And they're not as creative in breaking you down off the dribble by, shifting weight and getting you off balance and going by you. They're looking to hunt step back threes. They're looking at.
All right, so I gotta ask y'all this quick question: is that a problem going around the NBA that these guys that are on the court are no longer able of doing multiple things? Either they are screening and taking a whole bunch of step back threes or corner threes, not being able to create separation or manipulate the defense in order for them to create a driving lane to cause the defense to crash in order to generate open looks for other people on their team. We gotta talk about stuff like that.
And shoot threes, like that's the nature of the position now. That's going to be easier for Cooper Flagg to guard even that position. Point guards, it's a little different because of the number of ball screens they get. It's a lot of ball screen action you've got to guard, and most of those are switched. So I don't even know how much all of that ball screen is going to matter that Cooper Flagg's on somebody that's a high-level player, because of one ball screen and he hands them off to somebody else. Where it comes into play, his impact, is the number of guys he can switch onto in a given possession, and that weak side coverage, the amount of ground those guys can cover as a help defender, but also closeout length. That is where you're going to notice a tangible difference. And when you put him on the court at the same time with Anthony Davis, those are two guys that check that box, man. They can provide help as a rim deterrent, but they also have the length and want to get out and contest three-point shots. It could be really special.
Yeah,
that
Derek Lively.
That part's really important. The closeout part.
Yeah, Derek Lively is another one of those guys.
Yeah,
I mean, he just plays right into that.
Yeah, it's super important too, Legs, because the Mavs right now, like we all kind of agree, offensively they need some more playmaking, but defensively they need a lot of help at the point of attack. And I don't know if Flagg is just that guy right now. And anyway, there's so many switches and so many mismatch hunting in the NBA going on that it's hard to even have.
Hey, what I say, man? Come on, man. Just
one of those guys and be okay, but having AD and Flagg who can both kind of swoop in and then also close out and help should help kind of cover up that weakness. But do you agree, if the Mavs have enough ammo to make, let's say, one big swing this summer to try and cover up for Kyrie's absence and make a run at it next year, is that the thing they should be targeting? And if not, what is the thing that the Mavs should be looking to improve at?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, as an insurance policy for now, I mean, everybody expects Kyrie to come back from this. The time frame I've heard was kind of surprising. I thought it was a little bit short time frame for a guy that caliber. That's on the shorter end of what I've heard, for an injury like that. I got experience. I got a matching set of ACL reconstruction. So I'm kind of, it's different though. Obviously the surgery itself, procedure is less invasive.
I'm like, hold on, Led, where you going with this one, my boy? Come on now. Is you team Mavs or not?
Is much better from it. I get all of that stuff. It still seems kind of short for me to think about him coming back like, February. Like it seems like maybe later. So you're talking about, most of next season, not getting a lot of time under his belt and then getting ready for the most intense part of the year. And we all know typically ACLs, Achilles, those are typically the
I already know
following
Kyrie
season
coming through
when you start to see guys look normal again. So yeah, as an insurance policy, another ball handling, scoring type of guard. Yeah, I mean those guys don't.
Hey, Legs, who should we be trying to get, man? You bringing us around the ring around. We don't want to be talking about all that right now. Got me over here like, man, did he say a name?
And that's facts.
What? Fall off trees. I mean, if you have one that's good, as long as he's not a narcissist, usually you want to keep those guys. So I'm not sure, who that could possibly be. I haven't started thinking about teams yet, how they're going to rebuild, because I'm still finishing this season with these final four teams. But yeah, I think as an insurance policy for next year and beyond, getting some help there.
All right, fam, what a ride, man. My heart somewhat still racing from this video, and I'm dying to know what you felt while watching it. Who should be that person that the Dallas Mavericks should be targeting? Should it be a point guard, a shooting guard? Or, I'm not even gonna say it, we're not even moving in that direction. We gonna lock Cooper Flagg in, or should I say this kid from Duke?
And that's facts.
I don't know, it's rules and regulations. We can't just be out here saying the name like that. All right, family, make sure you drop a comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate you for tapping into the lockbox. And you are a true MVP if you made it this far into the video. Always remember to shoot your shot
And that's facts.
like a shooter. I did release a lot of videos in the past 2 weeks. Make sure you have a chance to go check them out. The NBA top 3 records is straight hot fire.
Hey, yo!
So check it out. Like, subscribe, tap in so you can be back in. And fam, always remember to shoot your shot like a shooter. Be out. Holla.